I know it's the late afternoon. I think there's some fun stuff happening after this, so we're going to get started and keep us going to the happy hour. Thanks for coming. Today we're going to talk about how we design for impact and adaptability, a collaboration with Planned Parenthood Direct and Evolving Lab. So my name is Adrienne Smith. I'm a digital strategist with Evolving Lab, and I think it's no surprise to say reproductive rights are under attack in the United States, and what's really galling is depending on the state that you live in, your access to health care, which should be fundamental, could really be compromised. So obviously we know the great work that Planned Parenthood does really in terms of advocacy and standing up, protesting, and making change. But on the other hand, just as important is their sort of work really on the ground. And in that respect, the Planned Parenthood Direct application really to deliver health care to you via a mobile app confidentially and securely. For us, it was such a mission-driven cause. I'm really excited to collaborate.
Great. I'm Kristina, Frantz. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sure. Okay, great. I'm the former Chief Strategy Officer of Planned Parenthood Direct, so I headed up all of product marketing and strategy. I'm no longer there, but I worked on this project with Evolving Web. I'm actually working on a femtech startup in the utility space. But this is such an amazing project to work on. I spent 3 years there. Planned Parenthood Direct, just in case you weren't aware, it's a telehealth app that women can come in and request access to birth control pills, UTI treatments, emergency contraception, and abortion medication in some states. All those requests are sent to a trusted Planned Parenthood doctor or nurse. So we're not outsourcing that at all. It's all going to the local Planned Parenthoods. If it's approved, it's sent either to your home or it is sent to your local pharmacy. And why this is still so critical is it really breaks down the barriers to care. I mean, there are a lot of women out there who don't have health insurance, so they need something that is affordable, accessible, or they just don't want their insurance company to know that they're on birth control or getting different types of medications. It's also expands affordability, expands access to people who are in rural areas. Imagine you live somewhere and you're 2-3 hours away from a clinic. Now you can get that dignified and discreet care right from the comfort of your home, right from the comfort of your phone. We had a very big vision for what we wanted to do with Planned Parenthood Direct, and our current website was just not supporting that vision. We had outdated, inaccurate content. We did not have the ability, our content editors did not have the ability to actually update the content. We would need to go through a very onerous process and could take weeks, so often our content was obsolete. We really wanted to amp up our marketing campaign, especially after the fall of Roe v. Wade. So we were limited by that because, again, everything would just go to the homepage, and the homepage was cluttered with all kinds of information. And that's not conducive to testing and optimizing your marketing campaigns. We really wanted to do an authentic brand refresh. The website had generic images on it, stock images, and we wanted to connect with our users and our patients. These women are literally the bartenders down the street from where I live. So I walked into a coffee shop, was talking to my dear friend Mark, who's a good photographer, told him the challenge we had. He's like, hey, listen, I'll do your photo shoot for free. So I went around, got some local folks who would either use Planned Parenthood Direct or would be users of Planned Parenthood Direct to make sure we have those authentic images. So all the images you see on the site are from a photo shoot of these women in the neighborhood, my daughter and her friends, because they're all in their 20s. So it was kind of, that was super important to us, again, to make that connection. And the overwhelming majority of users accessing PlannedParenthoodDirect.org and PlannedParenthood.org were on mobile devices. So we had to ensure that we thought about this from a mobile-first approach. Not let's make it work on mobile, but let's think about that first because that's how our users were accessing the content. Oh, she makes a great margarita, by the way. This is Marcella, and this is Noelle.
So as the agency partner selected to work to bring this vision to life, quite frankly, Planned Parenthood Direct told us how they liked their eggs and ham, and we said, great, let's go. So obviously, with those constraints, it's really where we see a lot of nice benefits. It's not really a dirty word, but rather we knew that they had, again, the vision to appeal to a demographic 18 to 34, authenticity, a generation that's used to sort of scrolling, that social media type feel, but also, as we said, always on their mobiles. So from building a website to send people to an app, it makes sense that everything is really optimized there. But above and beyond, as Kristina mentioned, the content editing experience was really not working with them. When you're dealing in a space like healthcare, obviously accuracy and really up to the minute precise information is really going to make or break how you establish that trust, that credibility, and ensure that people, feel safe sharing their information. And again, we're talking about health information, which can be used in many different ways if accessed by the wrong or with actors with bad intentions. And so lastly, and we talked a lot about this too, could Drupal satisfy all the different security constraints that, again, we had to work within? So with all that in mind, we sort of said, okay, great, we are off to the races. Yeah.
So we were interested in Drupal, from Planned Parenthood Direct was interested in Drupal because it's flexible, it has an excellent editor ability to just manage all of that content, and for its security. And what was super important to us is that we found the right partners who understood that we were not looking for a tech solution. We are a mission-driven company, so we needed to find partners that actually shared that vision with us. So I would say we definitely found the right partners.
All that. I wanted to touch a bit on discovery. As Kristina said, we did not really want the tech to be driving the strategy. We wanted to make sure we had a really user-focused approach because, again, like anything, it's about the people. That being said, I think our initial timeline was about 3 months, so we sort of had to hop in the sidecar and get ready to go. That being said, we made sure not to put our strategy a horse before the cart, and we wanted to be really intentional about it. So I wanted to sort of talk a bit more about the different steps that we used in discovery to get to there. So first off, we did what we call a bit of a user journey mapping workshop. And again, if our goal is to get people to download an app, we have to make sure what are the questions they're asking and what are some of the decision points. What do I need to know? So first off, it really started with the services. I need this service. Is it available in my state? If yes, great. Then how does it actually work? How much it's going to cost? All those sort of details. So by really keeping a laser focus on that, we were really able to say, okay, what's a feature that we need? What do we sort of put to the side? So that, again, we're giving them just enough to get to where they're going, no more, no less. So I wanted to illustrate a bit more how we moved from the sort of design process. As I said, we put the services really front and center. We wanted to be upfront. This is what we provide. This is what we don't. That being said, if a service that you're looking for is not offered by PPD, we're kind of able to redirect you to find a health center via the Planned Parenthood regular sort of home website, which again has many different outposts for services that are perhaps not covered here. And then lastly, great, I have the service I want. Are they available in my state? As we know, because this issue is so really down to how states decide to vote, we want to sort of be able to say, look, we're being upfront about it, we're following all regulations. At the same time, if you have the ability to travel, at the very least, you could very easily sort of switch your state selector and sort of see, oh great, it's not there in Ohio, but maybe it's there in Alabama. Bad example.
The opposite, most likely, but that's okay.
I am Canadian. But all that to say, even if the services weren't yet available in your state, what was really nice also was the sort of a secondary call to action. Hey, we're not available in South Carolina yet, but sign up with your email and we'll notify you when we are. So again, a really nice way to sort of establish that, hey, we're here for you when it's going to be ready, but with a low pressure. We were not going to sort of be spamming with the pop-up, download, download, download now. So again, and this was really the overall strategy that was driving the design and then the technical solution.
So Evolving Web built us this amazing library of reusable custom blocks, which is really the heart of our system. You know, they allow us to quickly and rapidly create pages, control content layout, control content hierarchy, control that messaging, and just empower our team to move fast. Because we no longer needed technology to launch a new page or to adjust what was out there. It was a very, very powerful system. So I just want to talk a little bit about some of these blocks, because I think everybody should have building blocks. I mean, we all like Legos, right? So who doesn't want a couple of building blocks? This is one example of the block, which is how it works. So Planned Parenthood Direct has two apps. One is the telehealth app, which we're speaking mostly about here. The other is actually a cycle tracking app called Spot On. So we were able to use the same block, which is the step system, showing some images, showing some information about it, to quickly launch our Spot On page, because we acquired it after we had built this website. So I actually launched the page in about 25 minutes, which was amazing. So thank you, Adrienne. That's like the how it works blocks. This is our birth control page. Again, we have that state selector, so you can see this is all about birth control, but maybe what's available in your state. On the pricing and description on the birth control page itself, the block here is very generic, but once you go into a state like New York, it will tell you, because the pricing structures were set by the states individually. So, birth control might start at $20 in New York, it might start at $25 in California. Washington State allows you to take Medicaid, so we had to have that flexibility built in, but still have that uniform look, which again, the blocks are magical for. One of my favorite blocks is the article keyword block. So if we are on, for example, the birth control page, we also launched something called the Pulse, which is our version of a blog. We could pull in all the articles based on that keyword onto this page. If I was launching a campaign on how you can access abortion care, we could again pull in the abortion pill and abortion tag into that page as well. So these really, really empowered my team to quickly move, quickly adapt, quickly change content, add services, add states, remove services if we had to, remove states, add insurance. The flexibility was amazing, and we just never had to use technology for it, which was wonderful because the technology was there. One of the things that we really use these building blocks for was to create these custom landing pages. When I came in, I wanted to really amp up marketing, and as I mentioned before, our homepage was not great. We had to send everybody to the homepage. So we wanted to have these custom landing pages that we could quickly build and launch on our own to test all of our marketing campaigns. Again, it's that strategic use of blocks. So for example, if we're talking about birth control, I don't need a how it works. Everyone pretty much knows how it works. I want to keep that streamlined. We get, here's the information, here's the message, here's the call to action, download, boom, you're off to the races. But for something like abortion care, that may feel a little scarier to some people. So we were allowed to pull in another how it works block to tell our customers or our potential patients how that does work, so they understand how that actually works. These are, the hero image blocks that we use in 2 different ways, which is great. I just want to talk a little bit about test marketing and campaigns. So because we were able to launch so many of these custom landing pages, this one, which is birth control, actually, we need 3 pages with different headlines for each of them. And we sent the same Google campaign to those 3 pages so we could track and see which message is resonating, which one is converting at a much higher rate. And of course, just birth control delivered was the winner of the 3 campaigns themselves. And that allowed us to quickly A/B test and optimize. So very, very powerful tool.
Yeah, so speaking of power, as Kristina was really mentioning, we got to see the really nice sort of front-end experience from a content manager perspective, but for us, we had to really sort of break that down and understand how we're going to architect under the hood Drupal in order to really enable this vision. So quite frankly, as we see, we have services that are associated to states, and per service, we can have different generic information, we can have an image, but also very specific. What is the cost, what is the insurance coverage, what's the delivery mechanism? So all that to say was we had a lot of different little pieces of content, and the challenge was to find what can we reuse versus where do we sort of have to funnel down to, okay, we need Kristina and her team to be able to say, yeah, this is $25, this is $20. So yeah, when we're thinking about that, I was counting up the services. We knew services were coming. It was available in at least 42 states, and I could sort of see with my solutions architect, this is getting kind of big. This is like, what are we going to do? But I think if most of you are knowing how Drupal works, I think one of its real strengths is how composable it is and how we can really leverage content types and taxonomy terms and those relationships in order to make it super quick to say, oh great, this state rolled out a service, we're done. So all that to say, in action, what it looked like was really being able to model both states and services as taxonomy terms. That way not only we could associate them to each other, but as Kristina said, if a new Pulse article came out about the service, the tag was already available, and we're really sort of creating that dynamic generation or population of content on these pages. We tried really to distill what's going to be, in terms of, let's say, treatment. We can have multiple treatment options per service. There's different types of birth control. We can have the same name, maybe a generic description, but obviously there was some information that had to be very specific. So all that to say, it's a very simple model that at the end was very powerful and allowed the team to move super quickly when things were really in flux or on the move.
This is just for you to think about because we don't have time to actually have an interactive section, but you know, what would you put on your homepage thinking about this? If you were launching a digital health site, what's one block or one message that you want on your homepage? I'll take 2 answers. Anybody? Anybody trying today? Nothing on your homepage. That's right. Oh, you got one?
Yeah, I
Yes,
was gonna say,
please.
I mean, I don't have a specific message, but you'd want to communicate trust, right? Like
Yes.
in some way, like you want to establish that because your health is serious and this is a big decision. So that's what I would say.
So talk a little about key outcomes. I mean, for us, this wasn't just a launch, it really was a site unlock. It really empowered my team to control the message, the brand, the content. Because we launched the Pulse, we were able to increase our SEO and our page views. Content editors were super happy because we didn't have to go through a ticketing system and wait for 3 weeks to have 3 words changed on the website. And they just really enjoyed creating all of the content as well. It was super easy for us, it was built for us to add new states, new services, to update all of that information. Again, no need to get tech involved. And it made campaign testing magical. It was one of my favorite things about the site, actually. You know, nimble and data-driven. All of our marketing was data-driven because we were able to actually test messaging, call to actions, and various things. Key takeaways, again, as Adrienne said, we did not put the tech cart before the strategy why horse. It's super important to remember why you're doing this and not just think, how can we have a tech solution for it? Built for scale and trust. It was, again, Drupal is a very secure system. Planned Parenthood brings the trust, so we had to ensure that what we were putting on those pages and updating that content, that it continued with that trust. Know who your users are. That's why we brought in that authenticity. We wanted to make sure that our users could see people who looked like them and felt like them and felt comfortable coming into Planned Parenthood Direct to get their care. Build reusability into every layer. Those custom blocks are amazing. You could use them, you could build anything you wanted in there. Change the content, change the pictures, change the call to actions. It was really, really amazing. And very, very important, always choose, when you're a mission-driven company, you have to choose your partners that get to your mission. You know, as we said, Drupal gave us the tools, but Evolving Web brought our vision to life. Feel free to connect. Any questions? Any questions? Pretty straightforward. Cool.
If you want to stick around, we'll be mingling for the rest of the day. So thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.